Hello, welcome back to our read through of the 1800s Pictorial Bible. Thank you for joining me again. We are in our 38th day of doing this. We are well into the year. We are still going strong. Please read along with me. We're in Genesis chapter 38 as we're reading one chapter a day. Grab whatever translation you have, read along with me, and forgive any struggle I have with the pronunciation of the old King James English here. Again, Genesis chapter 38. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he took her and went in unto her, and she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah, and he was at Chezib when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it onto the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And in process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And Judah was comforted, and went up unto his sheep shearers of Timnah, he and his friend Hira the Adullamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put on her widow's garments from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnah, for she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee, for he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, What shall I give thee? And she said, Thy signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff that is in thy hand. And he gave it to her, and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid her veil from her, and put on garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass that 3 months after, that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. Yikes. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man whose these are, am I with child. And she said, Discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet, the bracelets, and staff. And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because I gave her not Shelah my son, and he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, that behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass, when she travailed, that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took it, and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This one came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez. And afterward came out his brother, that the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zara. Okay, this is a very interesting story. We're still learning about Jacob's sons. In our last chapter, we saw the beginning of Joseph's story, and we saw some of the character of these sons. And in a previous chapter, we saw, that Reuben and Simeon go hard against the people who raped Dinah, and they go and murder a bunch of people. And then we see that Reuben tries to save Joseph, but then Judah has the idea to sell Joseph. And now we are focusing in on Judah, who, again, Judah is who the line of Christ is going to come through. And this is a very interesting story because he has kids. His first son, it says, was just bad, was wicked, and God decided to murk him. And so he's gone, and his poor widow, in that time, the procedure was, okay, if a man dies and he leaves a widow, if he has brothers, it's the brother's responsibility, the oldest, if he's available, to take her and give her a son that she can raise as if it was his brother's child. Now, this brother was a jerk and didn't want to help conceive a son that he wouldn't get to claim as his own. So he spills his seed, which means he pulls out and does not actually, this is the Bible, this is what happened. I'm not being perverse. He chooses not to actually impregnate her, and God is mad at him for that because that's being disobedient. And so God kills him. And then technically the procedure would be that she would wait until the youngest son gets old enough to be marriageable, which it seems that there's an age gap, and he's still a child, so he can't marry her. But he grows up, and when that happens, Judah doesn't do what's right. He doesn't say, hey, you've got to go take care. And yeah, it's a real bummer, but she is forced into this position where she's like, I have to get a child to carry on this line. No one is going to claim me, and I'm not going to have any children. I'm going to have no one in the world. And so she has to play the harlot to have a child, and she ends up getting pregnant with twins, but she has to pretend to be a whore, and then Judah sees her and decides to use her, and then she's impregnated by the correct, family, and she does it in a way where she can confront Judah with what he's done wrong to her, and he calls her righteous. Even though technically she tricked him into sex, it's a whole mess, but she did the best she could with the circumstances, and she did end up getting to have her children. And it's absolutely crazy. It is absolutely a wild story. But a lot of things in this family are absolutely wild. So yeah, just another entry in the crazy Israel family shenanigans. But yeah, tune in tomorrow. We'll be back on Joseph's story. We'll be meeting Potiphar's wife, speaking of harlots. And yeah, it'll be a great time. So God bless. See you tomorrow, and read your Bible.